in my head, I was like, am I going to just kill myself doing this?
I met a gypsy.
Yeah. Man, fuck. Yeah, pain's a good teacher, eh?
Yeah, pain's, the best teacher.
And there's physical pain and there's emotional pain. Like, there's a lot of different types of pain, but it's a great teacher.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a good motivator too. Pain and fear are the best motivators. Like that, I feel like that's what carried me through a lot of the things I accomplished afterwards, is just, knowing that.
So, talk me through fear being a good motivator, because I don't know that I'm motivated by fear.
You probably are, like, subconsciously, like,
Yeah, tell me.
if you know that something is super dangerous and you really want to do it, you're going to do everything you can to not have that thing that makes it dangerous happen. So for like the big fronty drop I did 2 years ago,
Yeah.
fear was the biggest motivator. I knew I was going to go for it. Like as soon as I figured out that was the venue, I knew I was going to do it. And just I knew the consequences better than anyone of like a crash on that size of drop. And I was like, that cannot happen. Like you cannot crash on this drop. You'll be fucked. And so, fear was the best motivator for me to put in the work, like every day, even when I was hurt, because I was hurt coming into that one too.
Really?
Yeah. I broke my ankle, 8 weeks before it. And so all the prep I did for that was just mental. It was just like, found a GoPro clip from when I rode it in 2019 and just studied it, like got the airtime, like just closing my eyes and then just dialing in the front flip mentally, and then built a setup into an airbag off scaffolding, which was gnarlier than hitting the dirt drop, honestly. Like it was so gnarly because it was just a massive tower. That drop is 40 feet down, 50 feet out, or 55, something like that. And to be that far up and looking down at a flat surface was so gnarly. And it wasn't like a tall airbag, like it was maybe 10 feet tall. And in my head, I was like, am I going to just kill myself doing this? Like, this is kind of fucking crazy, but we just built, and I'm still hurt. Like I'm still like limping around on my ankle. I hadn't even ridden my bike yet.
Have you got footage of this airbag drop?
I do. I posted one clip on my Instagram.
Let's find that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
fucked up.
It was wild. I built it, and at first there was a couple people that were like, "Oh yeah, I kind of want to hit this with you," and then as soon as they saw how gnarly it was and watching me hit it, they're like, "No thanks."
That sounds completely terrifying.
It was terrible.
Where would it be? Be a ways down. Oh, is that your dirt jumper?
Yeah.
Scroll up real quick, sidebar. Nah, go up one.
Yeah, the top right.
Go, yeah.
That one.
That's the setup right there, boy.
Yeah, that's the bike. Shout out to Hyper.
Shout out to Stark. Shout out to Hyper.
Shout out to Stark. Oh man, I didn't even get to enjoy the Stark.
What suspension did you put in that? Is it just stock with some stickers on it?
Yeah, it's just stock.
Dope.
I thought the stickers looked
I need to ride mine again, bro. I got I got a flat tire like a year ago.
Oh no, devastating.
So that's me done. Yeah, let's find this drop. Sorry, didn't mean to sidebar. How far down would it be? It'd be a while.
It's just before Rampage. There, at bottom left.
No fucking way.
Dude, it's
Click
so
the
scary.
sound on that. Oh my god. Watch it again.
Kurt Sorgi filming.
Bro.
Dude, I think I was,
Wait, let me read the caption. Pause the music. This was one of the gnarliest or dumbest things I've ever done. 6 weeks after breaking my ankle while preparing for last year's Rampage, I decided to go all in on the highest risk trick off the biggest drop I'd ever hit in my life. Just thinking about it made my heart race, and the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to do it. The way I convinced myself it was a good idea is by saying it's going to be the easiest front flip drop ever because of how slow the rotation is. Well, I proved myself wrong. On something that size, any mistake has unimaginable consequences. I also thought it would be an automatic win if I pulled this move and followed it up with the biggest flat drop backflip I've ever done on a bike. Yeah, we all know how wrong I was there too. Long story short, I'm glad I chased that wild dream. I proved myself wrong, but more importantly, I proved to myself what I'm capable of. Is that a good thing in my line of work? I'm not sure. What I do know is I'm in love with this process and I don't see an end in sight. It's a dangerous game to play, but there's a reason we do it.
it's true.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
Yeah, it was wild. It was so scary to pull the trigger on the fronty into the airbag because even just straight airing it, like the first straight air, we were like, I don't know, like I knew one guy that had jumped really high into an airbag, and it was Dusty Weigel.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, Dusty's, what's the highest you've ever jumped off anything into an airbag before? And I'm pretty sure he said 100 feet. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna live.
Like I'm within the range.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll be fine. But I didn't ask him like how to set up the airbag. So that was the other thing. Like we had to blow it up completely and then open all the vents to make it as soft as possible. And of course, like you don't figure that out on the first try. So my neck was just done. Like I had such bad whiplash coming into Rampage that year. I had to I think this was the last one I did because I just physically couldn't do it anymore. And there was a couple that I landed and I blew my arm off on one of them. I was like, this is just kind of stupid. But it paid off.
So I think the thing, like there's a few things in this quote, right? So when you say like motivated by fear, like I understand that concept. Like I understand how you can be motivated by fear. And I guess that like you think about having a kid, that feeling of like you've got it, you know that you've got a kid coming into the world, like, and you just go, I don't know whether you felt like that, where it was like, I just need to go hard as fuck to set up this kid's life. But it's like that, I guess, is being motivated by fear. And I'm sure that there's things in people's life where fear is a motivator, but it's not a fear they chose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe in some ways it is, but what you're doing, that's your choice.
Yeah.
Like you've decided that, okay, this is where the venue is. This is the biggest drop at this venue, and I'm going to front flip it.
Yeah. I mean, I think
so
it's
you're
just
choosing danger.
Yeah, for sure. I've never thought about it exactly like that before, but it's just like anyone else, I guess, like just following their dreams. Like that's a dream for me, is being able to do something groundbreaking in front of a live, or like the biggest live audience that we have in our sport. And I mean, in this caption too, like I thought it would be an automatic win to do that along with
That was crazy.
still the biggest flat drop flip ever done on a bicycle. Like those two in a row, I figured it would be an automatic win, but it was I was pretty wrong about that. Didn't even get a podium. It was wild.
I mean, yeah, that was a heavy deal. Like, so I was there. We actually never released it either, but I was there with Brandon Semenuk.
Yeah.
So we were filming. So like, I have like a documentary of like that whole thing.
Yeah.
That whole process. And it was my first time at Rampage. I will release it, but I just like basically like didn't have the horsepower with the editors to like do it.
Right.
So now we're like kind of getting I will end up doing something with it.
Sick.
But it was just it was mad. Like I'd never been there before, and I'd seen it, and I know a bunch of you guys, and I'd never had felt it. Because there's like, so you can watch Rampage, but you need to feel Rampage.
I tell that to everyone that watches it. And I mean, you would know better than me the feeling there, because I'm always focused on myself and trying to ride. But I kind of felt a similar feeling at X Games quarter pipe when I was there. I was like, this is like, these guys are going at the same thing every time, trying to go just a little bit higher every time. And the consequences are so gnarly. And yeah, the room for a mistake is just like zero. And everyone, like, you could feel it in the air. It was so gnarly. So I'm sure it feels similar to that.
Rampage was like that.
Yeah.
But then you're also, I mean, you're also scared in the sense, I guess it's not as much for me, because my wife was there. And so she came and like hung out the whole time as well. And so I was like kind of scared for her, because she was climbing up everything to like come and watch. And like, that's nothing she's ever done before.
Yeah.
And then I had Rones filming. So I was like kind of worried about him, because he was putting himself in dangerous situations to film. But then like the event starts, and it's like, I know you guys, and I'm close with a bunch of you guys. And it's just like, there's a fucking heaviness and a feeling of like, I just want these guys to be okay. I just want everyone to be okay. And you know that the odds of that happening are very slim. Like someone's getting fucked up.
Yeah, every year.
And, you know, that year it was Cam.
Yeah.
Like Cam had a fucking huge one. But there's also something that's so beautiful in it, that you're all competitors. Like, I remember seeing you the whole week, and like you guys were working on your thing, and it's just like all positivity, and it's all cheering each other on. And it's, you're walking up, and it's like a little, you know, you guys are like, I remember you like looking at that drop, and it's like, dude, you got that. Like, everyone's in this positive, I don't know. It's like, it's a weird kind of deal.
Yeah. You're all in it together.
Yeah.
Like if you wish, like if you want to do well and you don't want other people, like, that's not how you do well at this event. You can't just be like, oh, I hope this guy fucking crashes or whatever. Like, no one thinks like that. You're all like, you all know the consequences. If you go down, it could be it for your career. Like, it's happened many times at Rampage. And so it's kind of sweet to have that support from each other. And like, I don't know, the fronty was so heavy for me, I didn't even really tell anyone about it. I think when we were deciding where the lip was going to go, and like the flat side versus the lip side, I told Cam about it, Zinc, and he was like, are you kidding me? And he thought I was joking. It's like, yes, that's kind of cool to make
make that dude
kind of be like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But other than that, it was kind of just not really talked about too much. It was just like, I don't know. I was taking it one step at a time the whole time, and I was just like, okay, these are the steps I have to follow, and if I miss one of these steps, I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah.
And I knew if I did that, I was going to be fine.
So what are those steps?
For me, it was hitting that drop on the first day of practice, which is totally dependent on wind. And fuck, I think I hit that thing like 8 times the first day. We had such a good first day. And as soon as I did that, I was like, oh, it's happening. And I was just fired up. And that was the biggest thing to check off the list. I was like, okay.
So why was that important?
Just because the speed is so different for a front flip than anything else. Like, you have to go a little bit slower, And
Because you're like really throwing at
you're
the start.
throwing yourself forward and you're hopping.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can see it in the clip where I landed it. Almost came up short because it's such a big drop. I barely had to pop. And so I didn't even, the distance difference wasn't even that much. So I could have gone a little bit faster and it probably would have been a little bit smoother. But yeah, that was one of the many steps. And then obviously wind. And then, dude, the day of was such a roller coaster because we were on wind. Like I hadn't ridden, I wasn't able to ride anything. I think I did one top to bottom, that's normally great, but we were sitting at the top waiting for I don't know how many hours, like
Yeah.
3 hours maybe, and
Yeah.
then just getting one run, and everyone else was in a different boat. Everyone else was like, yeah, if I can just like get a little warmed up, like I'll go for it. And I'm like, I won't drop. Like if I don't get to ride this, like what am I gonna do? And then I got one run done, and I was just like, all right, get to the bottom, kiss my wife, who was pregnant at the time.
Yep.
It's like, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like getting yelled at because I was gonna be late or whatever, and I'm like, I got second last year. Like I'm the last second last to drop. Like I've got like an hour and a half, and they made it super stressful. But I was just locked in, and for whatever reason, I've never been more confident about anything in my life. Like I knew that if I followed those steps, I was gonna be fine, and that feeling carried through all the way till the end. I was just like in the zone, laser focused, and I just knew it was gonna happen. And it feels crazy to say, but it was wild. Like every bit of the mental prep I did, like I felt like I'd been there before. Like I did in such great detail of like hearing the helicopter, like being hot, and like sitting and like visualizing at the top, and then like all those little details, like those are the worst parts of Rampage, is sitting at the top and waiting to drop, because you can get in your own head. But if you are prepared for that and know that that's how you're going to feel,
That's just another step.
it's just another step. And I used it to my advantage. I just sat there with my eyes closed, visualizing it, and I only watched a few people ride, and then it was go time.
You just finished watching a clip from the full 3-hour podcast. You're on our Clips channel. The full podcast live on the Gypsy Tales podcast channel. It's linked right here. Go over to that channel, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and make sure you never miss a full episode of the Gypsy Tales podcast. If you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you want to watch it on the go, you can also head to our iTunes or Spotify to get the full 3-hour podcast in audio format.
I met a gypsy.